Alright, we're here with Jace Reawakened. 2 mana, 3 loyalty. Can't cast it on turn 1, 2, or 3, which, mono blue, no big deal. Its plus is a draw discard. Its other plus is plotting a 3 or less out of hand, and plotting is you can cast it whenever you want for free out of exile. However, it must be at sorcery speed. I don't know if... I guess that's a plot thing. It's not just like, you know, Jace specifically. I guess plot in general is only at sorcery speed. I didn't pick up on that. But I can't plot counter spells. But there's enough things to plot at 3, mainly at 3, but there's some 2s as well. That it's probably fine to have that there and not feel totally useless. And then the -6 is you copy spells for a turn, basically. So I don't imagine Jace coming up as like a -6 win condition that often, which makes it inherently worse than Tamiyo. It makes it worse than Brawl. It makes it worse than the other cheap blue creature whose name eludes me. Not Kinnan, the other one. The other mono blue one. So I don't... It's not too exciting, but you don't really have to worry about playing it on the first 3 turns anyways, because you are a mono blue deck, and that's it. It's just mono blue. For the most part, your primary objective is kind of just to make your opponent miserable, right? Nothing can resolve unless you want it to, and then the things that do resolve, you turn into frogs. You can bounce things and take extra turns with the -6 if those line up. Again, this is not Tamiyo drawing half of your deck, so you always draw the not counter spell. You always draw the extra turn. It's not like that, but I don't know. I think it is probably on the weaker end of mono blue. However, mono blue's commander, for the most part, when you're like heavy counterspell nonsense, usually isn't super relevant. Tamiyo is an exception because it comes in before the game starts on turn 1. This doesn't get to do that, so it is starkly different. And it also gets to play green, but you don't really have to play any green spells in Tamiyo. But yeah, if you want to play this kind of deck, probably better off playing Brawl, but I'm in the mood to play Jace. I haven't really played it that much. I suspect it's terrible, but again, you're mono blue, so maybe the deck carries it. Let's find out. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and concede. Okay, well, now we're complete shields down, and my opponent is untapping with 7 blue mana, which means Illuge is kind of useless. Alright, or they could just flicker it anyways, and I lose that way. Fun. Okay, whoop-de-doo. Yep, I lost to Imperium Thopterist. Fun. Alright, another green deck. Interestingly enough, Necrobloom is a pretty ideal one to steal in mind control. Although they have infinite removal, so stealing it doesn't actually shut it down. They can just kill it. Let's see here. I'm on the play, too. Oh, man, this is like cake and eat it, too. Cake and eat it, too. Opponent has, Once upon a... Ah, there it is. Once upon a time. You always want to draw first. You don't... There's no reason to cast it now. Draw your card before you do that. Makes no sense otherwise. You never know what you're going to draw. Looks like my opponent drew a Menadork. Never mind. I didn't. Pessimism still unavoided. Opponent bins Dusk of Dawn. Okay. Show that. Other tap land. Yep. Negate might not do anything here. Okay. I'm assuming they just drew this, otherwise that makes absolutely no sense. So they probably did. Puts us unyieldingly behind. Unyieldingly behind. Now we're forced to leave up counter magic for the rest of the game. I might just Mystic Sanctuary nothing next turn. It depends. It depends what I draw, and it depends if I cast this, but I might play this next turn. Because well, it's already untapped, right? I have 3 islands, yeah, alright, so I guess I don't have to play it, but turn 5 with these two is pretty nice, I think. Or just turn 5 in general. Alright, I hate this card. I could stifle its ability. I could just cast a counterspell on it. I don't feel like doing that. Opponent got 1 land, but there were already 2 in the graveyard. Can they do this now? No, they went off. They went off. I can technically stifle that ability, which is kind of funny. I don't think I can cast my commander right now. But if I don't, I feel like my window is shrinking. This takes me off of disallow, but negate's probably just going to have to cut it. And I can plot this, which is really nice. Don't do it? Okay, they didn't do it. Opponent didn't do it. Do we respect a counterspell? Blue deck 2 untapped. Surely you don't just windmill slam your commander. You actually have a better play, in my opinion, which is Aftermath Analyst. I wouldn't Necrobloom anyways, even if my hand was empty. I think this is actually just better. I probably will counter this. Opponent has nothing but black mana up too, which is nice. Them casting this makes me concerned, and again, it's negatable. Not too many things are negatable. If they go green source Phyrexian Tower, I'm upset. They do not do that. Their whole hand is, their whole turn cycle is now restricted to black, which is actually quite surprising. Wow. That is very weird. That is very weird to me, but alright. You got it. Let's put back... Actually, I like this. You know what? Wait, these are perfect. I can actually stifle the Analyst, right? Actually just stifle that. Okay, Think Twice is a hilariously efficient card to discard. I love it. Let's put on top Choice of Fortunes, because it's, I mean, like, why wouldn't I, right? It's kind of just more of the same thing again. Alright. This Stifle is actually just hilarious. Opponent has quite a few cards in the graveyard, too. I'm going to cast this one, because now this costs 2, if for some reason I don't Stifle. They can do the thing right now, if they want. Okay, I lost my graveyard. I'm only losing a Think Twice, though. That's... I mean, I didn't even cast the front side of it. My opponent doesn't have any mana abilities, though, right? You also cannot... You cannot stifle mana abilities. You can't stifle them anyways. But no, my opponent has no mana abilities. I just do the same thing, right? I'm losing Jace if I do this, right? Nothing else. There is no way to... Yeah, right. Kind of sucks, actually. But that's not really that big of a deal, because Jace now only costs 4. It doesn't go up to, like, 7 or something crazy. Another Rite of Harmony. This is not cast from hand. I can wash away it. I think I will. I really don't want my opponent to run ahead with cards. And I believe they must have some kind of creature, otherwise why would you do that? Even a single creature here would be kind of a nuisance for, like, just drawing cards. And I just want my opponent to not have that ability. Alright, I could be wrong, though. Maybe that's not what was going on. I like the extra turn. I don't like the land. I can cast the extra turn. I suppose I'll keep it and just foretell it. No, this is not a mana ability. This is not a mana ability. Nope. No siree. There's no reason to play the fetch land. I don't have access to that, so, okay. There's also really not much of an incentive to actually stop this now, because my opponent has, like, all the mana in the universe. It's just an issue of the Necrobloom, like, doing Necrobloom things. I'd rather not endure, but I might have to. It might get to the point of the game where I'm not able to, like, play the game. There's not too many things to stifle, so I probably should stifle this anyways. There's not much in the way of things to actually stifle. Triggered abilities? Does it? Yeah, it counts as triggers. This is an activated ability. It's not a mana ability. It's not a whatchamacallit ability. It's just an ability. It is not a mana ability though. Okay, I would like to cast this when Jace is dummy big, but that's probably never going to happen. I should just send this card. I could also just play this now. Actually, this probably could make sense. I could just get rid of the Wayfarer's Bauble. It's not doing anything. I probably don't need the land. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's just an activated ability. It's just an activated ability. Nothing mana related. It gets back lands, which is, in the sense of rules, not a mana ability. So I can make this a not 4/4. And I'd probably have to let them attack, which sucks, but it's probably not the end of the world. This falls off, though, and then they can do it again. Manlands are a problem that I have no recourse to, and that's not going to change. Manlands are kind of just going to solo me. Manlands are going to solo me. Keep the land in hand, because there's better things to... That just makes sense, right? Another extra turn. Unfortunately, it's not that exciting. I probably should cast it, though, just for the sake of casting it. So I will. I probably should cast it. It's not like my Jace is going to get to ultimate. And even if it did, 2 extra turns when I'm playing a deck like this is not that amazing. So, Cyclonic Rift. That is interesting. Alright, so now we cannot attack anymore, because one actually gets to play Magic again. Crack their food, sure, doesn't matter. Starting life total. You got it. Random land card from random. Consider's actually technically 1 card deeper if I keep it, but I think it's fine to get rid of it. It's just less mana to invest in it, and it's probably fine. I don't know. I can't wait to lose to this manland that I have no answer to, though. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be super, super fun. Don't think Essence Scatter is amazing, but I also don't think the land is amazing, so... Okay. Well... Problems. I'm literally getting embarrassed by a manland. Like, we're just sitting here like this, and I'm just getting embarrassed by a stupid manland. There is nothing in my entire deck, really, that stops this, so... Whatever. I think it's completely unwinnable because of Restless Cottage. I think this game is completely unwinnable. Like, the game's just probably already over. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not even drawing into anything. I think I lose if my opponent's only play for the rest of the game is firing this up. I think I lose. If that's the only thing my opponent does for the rest of the game, I probably lose. There's no Pithing Needle, there's no large blocker that would even work because my opponent's playing Abzan with a bunch of removal spells. So, not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I suppose I will not cast Jace again, though, and I know that. That's actually a pretty good one. All things considered. I don't have to cast it now. My opponent would just exile it, so... No, I have no Field of Ruin, no Demolition Field, nothing. I guess I have to. I don't really have much respect at all for those cards, but this is the scenario in which I would wish I had them. Usually don't like them at all, though. They kept the card on top. That's interesting. This Memory Deluge has a pretty decent chance at finding something that matters, but they do for the most part, 99% of the time, get to exile the other side of it. So I only really get to cast the front side. There's no chance on my opponent decks out before I do either, so... I don't have the other Jace in my deck anymore. I just literally have nothing. More Frogifies. I don't do anything. A land is alright. Suppose... I don't know. I can force my opponent to go to attacks first. And then cast Memory Deluge. I probably have to cast Memory Deluge. But when I do that, I only have 2 mana left. And I'm not sure what else there is to do after I do that. Not sure. That helps my decision. Because now they have way less mana. Way less mana when they fire up the cottage. That was a very good thing to see, I think. I don't know if it matters, but that was of all the things that could happen, that I'm in love with that one. My opponent just straight up did not take Memory Deluge. I don't know why, but now I don't have to cast it. Leave up mana for this last 2 mana, but they haven't been using it, and I don't think they will. Yeah, alright, I'm gonna cast it anyways. Maybe my opponent just assumed I was going to cast this. I don't know. I don't think Snapcaster Mage gets me anywhere. Neither does Solve the Equation. They're probably the best 2 of the bunch, though, right? So I can solve the equation, and I just don't know for what. It is a sorcery. I kind of have to do it now. I have 7 mana. Seagate Restoration draws me a metric boatload of cards. I suppose I take Seagate Restoration. I just can't cast it. And I'm not going to Snapcaster right now. But yeah, I think I'm just losing to this manland. I'm not prepared for it. I don't have anything going for it. Okay. Yeah, 99% of the time the manlands don't do anything. Most of the time they don't do anything. The vast majority of the time they do not do anything. But this game is not that case. Wait a minute! They're tapped out! Oh! They're tapped out. They tapped out. I can kill it. 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 Okay. The game continues. So, I will cast this now. That was absolutely phenomenal. I'm just gonna play it super safe and just not play magic on my turn right now, because I did tap a lot of my mana. Okay, we got past the manland that I actually didn't even envision having an answer to. I didn't envision that. Let's put this, or attempt to put this on the top of my opponent's deck, shall we? My opponent has probably a bunch of removal that doesn't do much. Maybe, sort of, kind of. I feel like I don't care about this. I feel like it's a trap to worry about that. I am at 11, but I'm okay. If that's all you're doing, I mean, sure. That's a whole lot of food. Opponent's delivering pizzas over there. Get rid of Censor, it's not doing anything. No strong desire to brainstorm right now, so I won't. Also, no strong desire to cast Rhystic Study. Neither is a strong desire to cast Jace, actually, because they probably just kill it. Maybe they probably do, though, right? Okay, I'm going to cast it anyways. If it dies, it dies. I might as well just cast it. I don't feel bad about this. Yeah, my opponent immediately highlighted their hands, so they probably have an answer. I think that's fine. Let's get rid of that. Spread land. I'm not going to defend Jace. I don't think Jace has anything to do with me winning the game. I could let their commander resolve. I do have Cyclonic Rift. I don't have an end-stepped overload one right now, though. I don't have an overloaded one. I think I'm still going to just try to, like, send it and see what happens. My opponent could just not respect my commander, which makes sense. So far, it hasn't done anything, so they have an incentive to not care about it, right? Oh, wow, they're tapped out? Well, I didn't think this was going to do anything. That's nuts. That's completely crazy. I think my opponent's hand is all creature removal. That's insane. Yep. Let's do that. Midnight Clock for free. Let's plot away another thingy. Probably this one. So, Ristic Study. Land, and there's not a big... So I'm going to hold on to the Brainstorm and hopefully have a setup where I can cast this for 2 mana. My opponent kept their commander in the graveyard. There must be some mass reanimation that I must counter. So, maybe not must counter, but pretty close. Pretty close. That is an oddly not too big of a deal. I think I'm going to try to counter it, though. Do I have an exile in my graveyard? I'm not even sure if I do. Is there a card that exiles in my graveyard? Let's find out. Let's find out together. I could pick this up. That's funny. No. Alright. I'm just going to counter it. Crucible of Worlds. So, they have a lot of lands in their graveyard. One of them is a Field of Ruin, but I don't have any, like... They can't spam blow up my lands. And if they have access to Restless Cottage again, I guess I kind of lose. So, probably best to, like, maybe find something. Okay. Technically, I did. Yeah, that does kind of make me lose, doesn't it? Because they get the cottage back, and that was the primary issue. I almost let it resolve, too. I wasn't paying attention. Well, I almost wasn't paying attention. Alright, this Midnight Clock has to really send it. Has to really send it. That can go away. I don't really care about this. I'm sure they'll just mill it, though. They have infinite life. They have infinite life. I can almost deck out from the Palantir. I can actually almost deck out from it. If the Midnight Clock didn't shuffle some of these cards in, I could see myself getting schmeeded. So this is most likely going to find 2 more fetch lands. Or man lands that I, again, can't answer. And there's not really much I can do to stop this, right? No, I can't sink enough mana into this to, like, stop that. So if they have more man lands, we could just go back to losing. Yeah, I don't think we're sitting pretty. Don't think we're sitting pretty. It depends really what the man land is. If it's a Lair of the Hydra, the game is probably over, unless this becomes massive, which is arguably possible. There was actually no man land, and they named Beast on Cavern of Souls. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. Let's find out. If they have a card that, like, interacts with my spells, I'm not in any position to, like, stop him anyways, so... I'm gonna tap up. Okay, I will do this. This probably is a good idea. I will plus, as there is nothing else to do. Oh boy, get rid of Cyclonic Rift. Oh boy. Alright, scam book time. Siphoner can't block? What do you mean? What do you mean? I think I can send this, right? Let's wait a turn. I mean, I have the loyalty sitting there, so... Thopterus is funny, but again, my opponent's going to mill. Let's just put these to the bottom. I don't think I'd want to draw them. Oh, Questing Beast. Yeah. Can't counter that either, so... We'll find out. We'll find out what the beast is. If it is Questing Beast, I feel like I'm not too upset with that. My opponent's next 3 cards were actually not good, so... Kind of sad to see that. Does that kill me? There's nothing I can do to stop it, right? I can put enough counters on my... Okay, they tapped one of their creatures. They only have 2 creatures. This is 6+. That is still too much. Still too much. I can gain 4. Maybe it's not enough. Well, either way, I can't stop it, so I might as well let it resolve. This is not enough to kill me through the Light of Hope, right? This is 13? Am I counting right? No, this is 14. This puts me to 15. So I'm not dead. They do have a Crater Hoof, but I can go to 1, right? There's no reason not to go to 1. Just keep my creatures around? I don't believe there's a reason I want to block spam this and then lose this. Maybe there is. Maybe this makes sense. I feel like it doesn't. Okay, there's a good chance going to 1 is a very bad idea. There's a good chance that's a bad idea. So. Okay, let's flippity whippity. Alright, I need this to be like dummy good. Oh, it was so bad. It was dummy bad. Scam swords, please, please. Scam swords, please, 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 please. No. Come on. So, duress. Double duress. Reanimate and Unburial Rites. Both. Well, I guess the second half of Unburial Rites is a bit of a problem. There's nothing else to cast. I can Frogify the Crater Hoof. And I can Frogify the 2/2, so it's just less damage. And then Cycle Sensor. Is this any when to cast any spell? Literally any spell. So I suppose there's no reason to cast anything else, right? Okay, I'm gonna cast this. I'm gonna cast this because I envision that not mattering. That matters. I'll put a stop here if it still has, if I still have the option. They're gonna mill themselves though, yeah. I was gonna say, if they didn't mill themselves, I would actually cast that. So I can Disdainful Stroke the Unburial Rites, take 3, Oracle of Moldiah. That is not as big of a deal as reanimating something else, so I guess I'm just gonna have to rip that bandit off. Of course, the top card is a land. Of course, of course. Yep, 2 lands in a row. Yep. Must be nice. Opponent just can't draw bad. Just undoing those draws. Okay, they kind of messed up. They kind of messed up. You should have fetched away the first land, because now if there's another land on top, you cannot play this. And that's your draw for the turn. Oh no, they can mill. They can make a bear. Never mind. Alright, I think we're finally running out of steam. Yeah, it looks like this is the end here. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna get cyber bullied. Go to 2. The Deathrite Shaman now just kills me with its ability. Although I can Vendilion click it. I can click it away. Opponent just for some reason did not cast Unburial Rites. I feel like that was free, but okay, well, maybe not. I feel like I would have just sent it. I don't know why you wouldn't. This is such a shame. I mean, we were doing a good job at surviving, but our payoff is just not there, right? Like, we don't have the payoff to stay in the race, really. Agent Rafine, well, you would have been good like 20 years ago. I can cast my whole hand. I might get rid of this land. Alright. I don't know what I need off this book, so I'm not even going to try to beg for anything. I'm gonna... Swords is... Alright, so Agent of Rafine, and then Swords, block, Vendilion click. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is my life now. Mana Drain would not actually do anything. I shouldn't have kept it on top, but alright, they just milled it anyways. Fair enough. I have to deal with this Deathrite Shaman. And my opponent is actually going to draw a land, so the Oracle of Moldiah would just kind of offset that. So we're going to get rid of that Deathrite Shaman. Because it just activates and kills me. Which, obviously, I would then lose the game, so. Yeah, I can steal a non-land permanent value 1 or less, and I have to steal a bear, right? So, Swords the Oracle. I have to steal, which I guess I should have done pre-combat, because now it's tapped. But I have to steal this. Yeah, I guess I kind of missed my opportunity there. Not sure what they're thinking about. Killing the bear doesn't... It still dies. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And... block and block? Take 1. Still making a bear every turn, though. Problem. Bit of a problem. Yep. What a crazy game. Yeah, I should have taken a bearer before they went to combat. I absolutely should have taken a bearer before they went to combat. They couldn't have killed it with the land either if that's what they chose to do there. They actually take... Wow, that's weird. That's weird. Okay, well, I mean, I'm going to stop it. Alright. Yeah, now I'm just kind of out of gas, huh? Plus this, get rid of the make disappear. It doesn't have any text on it. Yeah, now it's the second man land. That's what it is. It's the other land making things that's gonna beat me now. Unfortunate, huh? Okay, alright. Doesn't really matter what I keep on top. I guess I'll keep things that cost more than 3 on average, or 2 or more, 3 or more. So they just like mill a bunch of damage. They've milled 6, not really that exciting. Actually still alive. To what end? Don't ask me. Go to blocks first. I will lightning bolt the 2/2. Gotta love these alchemy cards, dude. Lightning bolt out of a mono blue deck. Feels good, I'm sure. Alright, make another 2/2, yep. Oh, it's a creature. Oh, it's a creature. Oh, I get to cycle this exclude. Oh, yes. It's not a beast either. Oh, we're so close to killing our opponent, too. We're so close to killing our opponent with this Palantir. Kind of crazy. Okay, so I draw 3, I think, of it. Haughty Jin is huge. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, wait. Let's do this first. Another scam card? Another scam card, please. Ah, tragic. All right, so at least it's a card to put away and then Castle Adventures to the bottom, I guess. So that and that. Yep. Play this. Play Haughty Jin. I think I'm winning this game, dude. I think I'm gonna win this game. I think I'm winning. Alright, so I'm going to swing because it's not lethal if they kill the Jin. I really should... Ah, man, I really should find something to... No. Nope. Alright. We know what's on top. We can get rid of those. Just take 12. Come on. Take 12. Oh, they only took 6. Okay, didn't kill them. Okay, this is it. This is a draw. Don't be a beast. Okay. I won. I think I won, right? I play this. They cannot play another card. Oh. look at the graveyards are bigger than the decks. What? Oh, bro, not only did I win, I beat things that I had, like, no answer to. Making a 2/2 every turn when I'm at, like, 5. Oh, dude. Alright, I'm going through a roller coaster. Bro, the alchemy cards, bro. I'm just robbing people. Lightning Bolt, gain 4. There was a duress in there, then I had a copy of it because of the Jace ultimate, so I could had double duress. Like, Tome of the Infinite, man, this is why you play it. It's the first time I got to play it, too, and there it was, just completely scamming someone. Completely scammed this person with Tome of the Infinite. Now, to be fair, if they didn't mill themselves for so much, they would not immediately be dead. I would be drawing cards, but they would not be dead. It would not be dead. What else happened in this game? Yeah, this saved me. This saved me. This saved me. I think I shuffled my... This kind of saved me. I mean, it wasn't super crucial, but it was good. It was good. The coming to the conclusion to actually draw instead of keeping this up as a counterspell was a good idea. That was a very big crucial turn there, too. Man, it must... Oh, that's just... They even had Cavernous Souls, but they named Beast. They got their commander stuck in the graveyard with, I think they had the idea to reanimate it with, whatchamacallit? The Unburial Rites. And they have 2 shots at it, which is not a totally unreasonable thing to do. However, if I do answer this both times, you can't cast your commander anymore. But their commander isn't that scary if all they do is top deck a land. It's not actually that scary, right? It's like, oh, it comes with a 2/2 zombie or whatever. But I'm not sure that would be the turning point of the game, because if they had that, they would have had something. They would have not had something else, and I don't know what that something else would have been. Oh yeah, there it is. There's the Lair of the Hydra. If this was in play off of the Primeval Titan, that would have been a problem too. I guess it got milled. No, that's not true though, because the Primeval Titan's in the graveyard below it. So they just didn't get Lair of the Hydra. I even said it out loud. If they get this card, I'm in a pickle. But they chose to get... You know what? Their decision probably made sense, right? They got Craterhoof Behemoth. I just happened to have randomly gotten a card that stopped Craterhoof from killing me through Cavernous Souls from Tome of the Infinite. So, again, Tome of the Infinite is the reason that I won that game. The alchemy randomly generated card thing. This is a game my opponent will never forget because they got scammed out of this. If they're thinking in that way, they might not be thinking about it. Because, I mean, they lost to, like, main deck cards, but I wouldn't have not got to this point if it wasn't for this. This is the same game they swung with that cottage, made all the cottage cheese, gained 45 life off the cheese, and then still died to Palantir. And then one shot to the Jhin. Wow. Yeah, they tried to reanimate Craterhoof, but they tried to reanimate Craterhoof post-combat, which is just a 5/5, right? But at that point, they probably should have just picked Primeval Titan as the target, because at least it has trample. I don't know what that choice was about. I don't know why they tried to post-combat reanimate Craterhoof. But, yeah. Crazy game. What a crazy game. I mean, that's really all shoot, that's all I needed. That's the game. That was it right there. Okay, so this commander's terrible. I've played commanders similar to this one in the past, and after having played for about 2 hours, I can say with certainty this is a very bad commander. I had one really crazy, really awesome game, but it didn't really hinge on Jace that much, although I would say in that game, I'm just going to use this one game as an example for a while, because most of the games, nothing happened and I died, but that one game where I got to Jace Ultimate, I think twice, Jace died like 4 times, and I ultimated twice, and the Ultimate did save me, on top of Tome of the Infinite. Tome of the Infinite is a weird one. It's a good thing it costs 3, it would be busted if it cost 2 or less or something like that. It's very good that it costs 3. But even though it still costs 3, it has no business bailing you out of certain situations, and it just does that anyways. It is probably better, or it can be better, than Key to the Archive. And Key to the Archive is really degenerate, so sometimes this is like lottery win, and then sometimes it doesn't do anything. Like, if you get giant growth or whatever, it's not doing anything. But not to stick on one card. Jace's ultimate is kind of cool. I like the instrumental value you can get. There was almost always something to do when I was at 6 or 7 loyalty that would justify -6ing. There were other times where there wasn't, but for the most part, I felt like there was always something to do with the -6 when I had access to it, which is kind of cool, because you would imagine it's all just like counter spells, bounce spells, Frogifies, but there was just enough in here, at least by the end, this is what it looks like now, where it actually felt like I had something to do every time, and that's nice. And it's multiple cards, it doesn't have to be a single card, and it does not have to be an instant or sorcery. You can copy anything. I think I copied a Wayfarer's Bauble, which is kind of funny, but okay. It would be kind of cool to have 2 Rhystic Studies in play. It'd be kind of funny, but by the time you do that, your opponent's either dead or this doesn't matter. They have so much mana. After saying all of that, again, this commander's terrible. It's worse than Brawl. It's worse than Tamiyo by so much that you will probably never beat Tamiyo if you're in a Tamiyo matchup. It's probably an auto loss. The 4-mana blue commander that's also kind of popular in the lower tier. Tamiyo's not lower tier, so I don't think you should even bump into Tamiyo if you're playing this. But if you're playing against Aluge or Aluche, Alejandro, the 4-mana 4/4 blue island counter discount thing, that's just better than this, and it costs twice as much, but it has like much more powerful immediate impact and can play cards that play with its core strategy a little bit more efficiently than Jace. By the end of it, I found some pretty ideal cards to plot with Jace, and that is nice, because otherwise you're not really getting to cast these, because you have to leave up you basically have to play the entire game on your opponent's turn, or your opponent's end step, your opponent's turn. So it's a good thing that this has the plot, and I wasn't super sold on the plot, but it's nice to just draw, discard. Oh, I found something that's good. Let me plot it so I can cast it later. Because I can never find a window to cast it on my own turn willy-nilly. So you kind of need something like that to plot cards that you just can't cast otherwise. The only sort of, I don't know, oxymoron, juxtaposition, I don't know the term for it, but the offset, the irony of it is you spent 2 mana at sorcery speed casting this card. So the only time where it's extremely crucial and very notable is turn 5. I guess sometimes turn 4. We can say turn 4 because there's 2 mana counter spells. Not too many, but there's probably enough. You could probably say turn 4. The logic still applies. That the very turn you cast it, it can pseudo net you a mana on a 3-mana card because you spent 2 for this, and which is essentially plotting, right? Because I think all plots are 2 mana. I think, I'm not 100% sure on that, but let's just say they are. Actually, let's not say they are because I don't know if it's true. But let's say the card has plot 2 mana. This is what that does. This gives any 3 or less card plot. So you spent 2 mana on this to plot it. So it's essentially like the card itself had plot. It only, stacks if you get to untap with Jace, which is not too difficult. It's not too difficult to do that. Especially if you turn all your opponent's resolved creatures into 1/1s. You can reason... I felt like I was untapping with this a fair amount of times, which is really good. But, yeah, so you plot a 3-drop or something, and then you're sitting there, like, next turn you get to cast it, right? And you still get to leave up your counter spells. But the very turn you cast Jace, it's a very good idea to leave up a counter spell, right? That's why the first 3 turns are kind of irrelevant, because you're not really ever going to cast this on the first 3 turns anyways, even if it didn't have that text. Maybe you'd cast it on turn 2, especially with Mox Amber hands. I can absolutely see someone casting this on turn 2, getting a free 3-mana card. Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. This would be broken on turn 2. All right, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, it probably needs that text up there. But fortunately, it's not super crucial that it has that text. You do not need it in the first 3 turns. It's hard to even call it a win condition. I actually took out a fair amount of my win conditions by the end of it because my win conditions were getting in the way significantly of the things I needed to do to get to them in the first place. So if I had like a 7-drop in my hand, guess what Jace is going to discard? It's going to discard my 7-drop. It's going to discard my whole... discard my... I said disc-drop. It's going to distrack my Hullbreaker Horror, and then I'm going to sit there like, well, now that I'm at 7 mana and I've cast all these counter spells and I've done all this stuff, I don't have my 7 mana payoff for all that, like, getting to turn 7 things. So that was a little awkward, but it got me in. It got there that one game, and that's all I care about. That game was really crazy. That game was absolutely insane. So I can't recommend this commander, like, at all. In fact, the game I played is probably the best game this Jace has ever seen. So I can't imagine it will get any better than that if you were ever interested in doing it yourself. But either way, enough rambling. Let me know what you thought about Jace Reawakened as a commander. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.